Mhm.
And it was a new midfield. Midfield that we haven't seen since last season. Towards the end, I think we got a couple of games of it.
I
Andrew,
put a stat
what's
out
your
today.
stat?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
stat?
It was August 23rd, 2025. One of the last games, like you mentioned, of last season. A 3-0 win also at home against Colorado Rapids. It was the second time that Sanabria and Wynder started the same game. And he started once before that earlier in the season. This exact date escapes me. I think it was a 3-2 loss in Philly, I want to say. That was the first time they started together. But since then, 2-3-0 wins. So not a bad record for those two, the young partnership.
No, they were great. And I'm going to go into my LeBron bag here and I'm going to say, well, I called it, but I actually never said it out loud. It's been something that I've been toying with, which was the idea of dropping Marco Royce completely. The only thing is I thought that one of Peck or Paintsel was going to play the other forward position, the other striker spot, and it wasn't.
We sort of talked about that.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Andrew and me talked about this team being very similar to Manchester United, and I thought it was going to be one of Peck or Paintsel filling that Mbumo role as one of the striker positions. But he kept it very simple, and he just put Sanabria there and said, hey, you three youthful gentlemen, go and run your socks off and just beat the team physically. And we talked about in our preview that Charlotte's got a good midfield. Like Della Torre is a European talent that came back here. Like they didn't have Westwood.
They need to click. They're definitely, they have the talent in Charlotte to have a really good midfield, but they don't seem to have clicked yet. And just looking at what Dean Smith said about them, they still need to find that rhythm. Kind of like what just clicked for us. Kind of tough for them to have one of those nights when we figure it out on the same night.
Yeah, but we also don't know if this has been a midfield that has actually played together. Like through the preseason, we didn't see that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that he went to this because that's what he did. Like he had no reason not to start Royce here. Other than he had played midweek, but he had signed a contract extension that morning.
Exactly. Yeah, that was confusing, but
a week off coming up too.
Reduced role, reduced money. So maybe this is part of the contract and saying like we're not going to play as much. So we're gonna like, are you okay with this? And with the cost reduction on his contract and how bought in he seems to be, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, like you were talking about it earlier, like we don't really need a 10 right now. We need 8s. And to me, that's kind of what we did. We set up with Cerrillo as a 6 and 2 8s in front of him. And those two had the opportunity to switch who would go a little higher up the pitch. I think it was more Sanabria throughout the game.
Yep.
And to your point earlier too, about like we don't really have anyone that can carry the ball from deep to forward. I think Sanabria is learning to do that. It's not beautiful and pretty like the way Puig does it, but in terms of getting the ball from point A to point B, he does it very well. It's just a freaking steamroller of a dribble rather than someone gliding across the pitch.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Ricky Puig out there.
No.
Just to jump quickly in and out there, I think with Sanabria, he's not, I wouldn't say he's quite a dribbler, but the way he progresses the ball, the I think is most effective is passing. I think he showed really, really impressive forward passing. He's been showing a really deep bag, I feel like. Forward passing, side passing, generally in these appearances, that's how he gets the ball up. That's just he's contributing. Elijah Wyner's kind of similar. He can kind of carry the ball a little bit. He's better at shielding, has a little bit of a taller frame. But kind of similar also. It was the passing, the forward passing. I think Saturday, Elijah had more forward line breaks than Sanabria did, but both of them had a pretty high amount. So but it's through that passing. They to the point that we didn't necessarily need a 10. We don't necessarily need that dribbler if the ball is moving. You know, a coach will always say the ball can move faster than you can run, so pass it. And I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You posted another stat on your X about the number of tackles that each of them made. Do you remember what it was?
I can pull it up really.
Yeah, if you could pull it up. Oh, we lost you because I know what happened here. We lost your mic because you're connected to your phone. That makes a lot more sense. So once you click back in, but what I mean about the midfield in this particular system, right, with Vanney and in this 4-4-2 mid block is that if you win, I've watched that second goal on repeat. because it's my wet dream for this team. Every single game, we should have a goal like that. Every single game, we should have a goal like that, which is the team tries to go and hit us on the counter. Then all of a sudden, you've got Cerrillo, Wynder, Sanabria, and one of the defenders, I think it was Yamane, but they essentially 3 or 4 players swarmed one player. They grip the ball off of him. It goes straight to Sanabria, who finds a long ball straight to Peck. Then Peck is in one-on-one space with Dinosaur Tim Ream, who is going to be our World Cup center back. Sorry, that's a separate point. But Gabriel Peck against 37-year-old Tim Ream can be a bit of a worry, right? For Tim Ream. Like
he's was the worry for Tim Ream.
Right.
Tim Ream did not have a good game.
Tim Ream was on
he needs to lose that spot because there's young kids that have been doing a very good job in Europe. Just a side note.
He's just old, right? So like obviously Gabriel Peck going one-on-one against him, but I like that matchup if it's Gabriel Peck against any center back.
Oh yeah.
He beats his man and then he just puts a ball across the 6 and it's 2-0. And it's like that. That stuff happens instantaneously. And do you have the stat now about the tackles?
Yeah, it was 6 tackles between the two of them. I think it was 3 and 3, and then 7 ball recoveries. I think Sanabria had one more.
Yeah. So you're looking at it.
7, by the way.
6 and 7. Nice, nice. That's back-to-back pods with the 6-7 joke. We're on fire. We are on fire.
It's for the clip, man.
It is for the clip. We're all about clips. But that's kind of where I'm at with this team. Is I've seen the blueprint. This is literally like the Matrix. It's like you want to take the red pill and we can play possession ball, or you can go and take this pill, and we can see where this team can go, playing the way that suits this team. And that midfield 3 was so impressive to me, and I had concerns from the jump.
Totally right,
yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely did. But to me, the two in front, that defensive ability also allows Cerrillo to have a little bit more energy, maybe, to do what he normally does. Like, it felt like a vintage Cerrillo performance where he was getting the ball from deep and spraying it out wide to Paintsel or Peck. And to me, that's why he blew up on the scene outside of him facing off with Messi, where that really got the fans going. But like, in terms of his ability on the ball and on the pitch, those long ball outlets to our fast, pacey DP wingers who can then make something to Klaus is so huge for how we want to play.
We didn't even talk about him. We didn't talk about 2 of them, but Mickey Yamane and Aude were fantastic in this game. Yamane will highlight because he's the guy that actually got involved in the midfield. He played. Me and Mila have been crying out for Mickey Yamane in the 10 position, which is so strange. We said that the talent's there. You just have to let him do it. And that first goal comes from him being in that position, and he just makes the right play. He's so intelligent. And the same things that we said about Yoshida, you can apply to Mickey Yamane, and his ability to get this team up the pitch and then stay up the pitch is really where he's going to have his benefits. Did you have anything on Mickey Yamane outside of that kind of position thing?
I mean, I feel like if you just look at his heat map, this kind of goes into your position thing. But he takes up space in the 10. He takes up space where the right winger is. He's still actively defending. Like, he doesn't just shut off defensively. He gets his ass all the way back and plays defense every single time. Yeah. It's just, he never complains, I feel like. He's just an underrated tool that we have. And I don't hear enough people talking about him.
Yep.
He's a Corolla. Quietly amazing.
Corolla. That's a funny play on a Japanese car joke as well. Like, I don't know if you realize what you did there, but Toyota is a Japanese car company. So that really works well. He's our Corolla. Okay, so to end this section before we go on our road trip, obviously the man of the match was João Klaus. We all know that because he scored 2 goals. But I think that you could give anybody on the team the man of the match award. So I kind of want to hear from everybody. Just one word answer. Who was your man of the match outside of João Klaus?
I'll give it to Peck. I think he deserves it, especially after we kind of ripped into him I think a lot of people ripped into him.
Totally.
He responded really well. And speaking of vintage, that was pretty vintage. Original performance Peck. dancing on the ball, but with purpose. It wasn't just trying to do something on the sideline. Like he won fouls, he beat his man. Even though his shot was technically off target, it created a goal for us. So if this is transitioning back to the old Peck, then I think we're in a very good spot. But I hope it wasn't just a flash in the pan for Brazilian heritage.
Same. Dari?
I'm going to go, I was going to say Peck as well, but I'll go with Sanabria. Just off of last season, I think that's a big improvement. I think it was a statement performance for him. So excited to see more. Hopefully he can build on it.
Great. Andrew?
Yeah, I would probably say Sanabria. I've kind of been on a Sanabria high, I think, since probably the second San Miguelito game, but really since Panama. I think you've seen it in my content, especially today, but I'm just astounded by the growth he's made, but I'm going to pivot like Dari did to not say the same thing. And I'm going to switch to Elijah Wynder, but it's similar reasons there. I think it's difficult to emphasize how important a year to settle is for, I think, especially young players. I think the difference in how they're playing now and what we saw last year, it's just night and day. And to me, it highlights a point that I made way back, I think in about August. I looked back for that in that art, just as part of the research I did for the article that's coming out tonight. But I had mentioned that the title of that article is Why the Galaxy Chose to Suffer Now to Win Later. And it's that idea that the signings they made, these young kids like Elijah and Sanabria, they were never really meant to replace your Mark Delgados or Gaston Brugmans. At least not that year. They were investment pieces to start contributing now. And it's just fantastic, I think, that we're really seeing the dividends pay off in that investment. And, you know, it's great, obviously, as a writer, to get a little bit of validation for something you said about a year ago. But it's just so satisfying, I think, for these players to start undoing a lot of the doubt. Because last year, I think Sanabria especially, but both of them really, really got a lot of stick from fans. And I thought it was a little bit unfair, just knowing that the expectation wasn't for them to deliver. The expectation started this season, and they started delivering this season. So I think, to me, the timing is exactly what Will Kuntz would have thought. And yeah, the same goes for Elijah. Same goes for Sanabria. But I think Elijah Wynder, another standout. I think he didn't quite have the highlight reel that Sanabria did when he joined. He's maybe a little bit more of an untested. So to see him prove that as well as that younger, maybe more raw product, I think is a little bit even more satisfying that he's finally starting to add to that highlight reel of his. So super stoked for the both of them, but he's my man of the match.
Yeah, you guys all said players that I would have given it to as well. I'm going to go with Julian Aude after looking at his stats yesterday. He had 11 defensive contributions. That's not Julian Aude. And to our point about Maya Yoshida needing coverage, I think he had like 6 clearances. And so I didn't ever think that Aude could play that left-sided center back role. I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And this game showed why. Because he's so good on the ball that he's going to help out in all those build-up phase. I'm interested to see if he's got a long ball on him. But if you have 11 defensive contributions in a match and you get a clean sheet, you should be in the conversation for man of the match. So I think he's going to go under the radar a little bit, but he was kind of my unsung hero. Impressive performance.
That's a great shout.
Yeah.
I think I just want to reiterate something you said. One last thing, just on this topic, something you said in one of your clips recently. But I think that this award could have gone to anybody in that core, in that spine of the team you mentioned, that Klaus, Sanabria, Cerrillo, Wynder, even Glesnes, Yoshida. You could throw in probably Amani there as well, but that spine, that core, it lights out, I think, in that game. So one last thing, I just really loved the way you put it. That spine, I think, was fantastic.
Yeah, your team is only as good as your spine. It
was
really
like 10 out of our 11.
I know, we gave it to everybody.
If you have a lot of good players.
It's not a spine anymore. That's the whole body.
Yeah, the arms and the legs were also involved. Yeah.
It's a fantastic issue to have.